Welcome back to Live Life. Sometimes when you think about the past, you do it often when you're not feeling well, or you feel depressed, or that life is falling down. And it's common for us to think about certain things that we could have did differently that could have changed the outcome, but we really don't know the outcome. So when we're in the moment, there's certain things that we're doing, and we try to do the best we can in those moments, like using intuition, or maybe we want something that we think we want, and then later on we question, like, why did I want that? Like, why did I want to date that person? Or why was I making them my happiness? Or why did I put them on a pedestal and think that they could be everything? That I'll only be happy if I was with them. Or why didn't I take that job? Or why did I continue to do a certain job? Or why did I sit at that traffic light and wait 8 minutes because I was following the traffic laws, and then somebody would crash into me and almost kill me or something? Like, there's so many things that we just don't know why we do certain things, but we try to do the best we can in the moment. We really don't know what happens in the future. But it's common for people to think that I made a mistake, or like, I wish I would have done this differently. I wish I would have taken a wrong turn, or not got into that relationship, or got that job sooner. We try to do the best we can in the moment, and sometimes we have to make mistakes and do certain things because people do warn us. But we can't listen to everything that people say, because sometimes they tell us things that that are not beneficial to us. They just think that they know because they have made certain decisions and their life is working out, and maybe they don't have the adversity, they don't have the struggles, they don't have the challenges, but we do. But when we go through these challenges and we learn things about ourselves, and sometimes we question things, like when we're like in the moment, we're questioning things when we're struggling, when the storm is near us, when we're in the storm. It's like if you're out on that boat in a perfect storm, you're like, why am I out here? Why didn't I go? I knew there was going to be a storm, and I went out anyways to go fishing, and now this is what is happening, and I'm so mad, and maybe you start blaming everyone for going. Somebody should have stopped me, somebody should have told me. But it all comes down to our decision making, is that we have to take ownership of it, take personal responsibility, to be mature about it and say, yeah, I did this, so I'm dealing with it. I need to deal with a solution. I need to resolve this and not focus on the problem, because it's common is that you focus on the problem, your emotions get into it, you start getting angry, and you start wanting to blame people, you start getting mad at yourself, you can start beating yourself up. Be confident in the situation and say, you know what, it is a problem, it's already a problem. I'm going to make it worse. If I start stressing myself out, I start putting pressure on myself, I start like reflecting back to the past, that I could have done things differently. It's already done. The problem is there. Deal with it. If it's a really big problem, don't beat yourself up because you can't resolve it right away. But you really have to think about the present moment. If you really had a chance to fix things and go to the past, it would really affect now. So say if you had a dog and you love your dog, and you love that they love you and you love them, and you have adventures together. If you decided that you wanted the past to change, so say, hypothetical, you want to change the past, then you wouldn't have them. You have to be cautious about it. It's not like that we could go to the past and tweak little moments, get out of certain things, or not do things, because sometimes people regret what they didn't do, and they also regret what they did do, but a lot of times it's what they didn't do in life, and they use time as an element of the element to create pressure, saying, I wish I had more time, and that you do have time. that you always have time because you're still here. And if you're healthy, then you have more time. You can always reclaim your time by focusing on what you want or what you need, and be realistic. Like, I could walk into a store and I could see things that maybe I want. I'm not really big on buying things, but there's certain things sometimes I want to pick up something for the dog, Charlie. I needed something for the back seat because this other thing got this little dog thing that I usually use. It's a yellow one, a certain brand that I don't use. It got shredded in the washer, and it was yellow, and I liked it because it's not too hot. So I found a black one. It was like a hammock looking thing, but you can't really have your dog on a hammock looking thing like if you're in an SUV, because then, you know, if you have an accident, or if you turn or something, that they could end up at the window or like crash into the window. You just don't want to create risk. But it worked perfectly if you don't, instead of attaching to the front seat, you put it below and lock it. Now you got a secure unit that is covering your seat and protecting your seat, but also it catches all the fur. So if you have your dog or you have your cat, if you have something in the present time that you love, you have a good job, you have a place you like and all that, but then you're complaining because maybe you're single, it's not the right time. But if you're complaining that you wish you could go on these trips, you can go on these trips. Maybe not right now. But if you want something, I mean, there's ways you could do payment plans, so then you could commit to it. Say, I got this payment plan going, I want to go on this inclusive trip to Mexico or somewhere. You could do it. If you want to buy like some shoes but you don't have the money, then they have like Afterpay, they have Affirm, they have all these like things that these companies know. These companies understand actually consumer demand, and they also understand our financial situation. That maybe we don't have enough to pay for something completely, but we can make payments on it every few weeks because they know we get paid every few weeks, or we could do a 6-month plan. But if you do every few weeks, then they don't charge you interest. But if you do a 6-month plan, then they're going to charge you interest, or 1 year. You could get things if you want it. With relationships, you just have to be brave to step out of your shell, like your fear, and to say, if you're interested in someone, then find out if they want to go out. Don't be afraid of the outcome. That if you start putting people on pedestals and then you're afraid because they're going to say no, and then everything that you created in your mind or your fantasy or whatever that involves that person is going to be gone, is going to be evaporated, and now you're not going to be happy. You can be happy alone. If you do self-care, that you could be happy. And you should be happy with yourself. Maybe you're not a certain height, a certain weight, you don't have a certain body type. If it involves working out, you could do it. If it involves height, then you just have to find a way to just embrace it. I'm not gonna say accept it. When you accept something, you're just like, well, you know, like I accept it, but maybe it's not what you want. Embrace it, because you can't change your height. Change your height, like say if you're a certain height and you want to be like 6'4" or something, you're not gonna be 6'4" if you're like 5'7", 5'8". If you're a female and you're 5 foot and you want to be 5'9", then don't beat yourself up because you're not 5'9". There's things you could do. It's the way you carry yourself, the way that you act around the people in your circle, but also if you're on social media, the way that you portray yourself. And whether you're being real or not, you know, like, because sometimes people are good with being fake. Fake is that they're going to be hiding stuff from their past. Stuff that they did that's really dark and dirty and is just horrible. They could be hiding that stuff because people are not going to know. Only a few people are going to know, and then they cut off those people so they don't even have to be around those people. That's okay, because I mean, these people do these things. Let them deal with the way they want to live their life, because maybe down the road they're going to feel a certain way. Because if they never change the way they act, they could mask it, they could disguise it, they could hide it, but they're not being genuine, they're not being authentic, and they live for the comments, the compliments, the likes, the traffic, the subscribers, the followers. They live for those moments because it makes them feel good. It's almost like therapy. Therapy for them daily is like, I have these supporters and they think I'm great and people are writing about me and I'm great and I'm everything. I'm a public figure. That can only go on so long because their need to achieve something that actually has some type of reward is not going to happen if they're like out there just jumping around all over the place, doing all these things. So it all comes down to that we can make certain decisions to know, okay, we want this, then we're going to focus on it. Focus on it. I think I heard a song recently on the radio. It says, focus on your shit. It was like some hip hop song, and that's true. Focus. Be committed, disciplined, consistent. If you want to work on a project, you want to write a book or you want to write a script, write a song, it's not going to write itself. That you have to put the work in it, and like you can't fear that it's not going to be good because you're setting really high standards because you're fearing that it's not going to be good. You wasted time on it. People are not going to like it. You may not be good enough, and now your dream is over. Stop overthinking. Stop self-doubting. You have to be confident in your process, in your abilities to do something, that you are capable. A lot of people are going to tell you, like, you need to love yourself. You need to be happy, but they're coming from a different place. Everyone's in a different place. We're somewhere different at different times of our life, in different situations. Somebody that has money and successful, had a good job for many years, is not going to understand your situation. Even if they know you well, they could assume that you are the same as you used to be. They'll be like, oh, you throw yourself at women, or women throw themselves at guys. But maybe they did that too much to the point where they got tired of getting treated in a certain way and they made adjustments quick, and now they don't do that no more. Or maybe they talk about certain things that they keep repeating. Sooner or later, people learn because they get tired. When you get tired, then you change things because you don't want to keep self-sabotaging or be self-destructive, to hold yourself back. To hold yourself back to where the things that are happening in the present time is things that you have direct connection to, that you made certain decisions that got you here, but don't regret your past because you are here and you feel like that everything's falling apart, because it's not. Now, you're not getting punished for certain things. Yeah, you might have some karma because you acted a certain way, you did something. Maybe you need to repay debts to people and you needed help, and that you were desperate to get that help because you wanted to finish school. You wanted to avoid certain things happening, so then you got help, and then now you need to honor those debts, and then now you get financial karma. It makes sense though, but as long as you're here right now and you had good intentions, you had moral intentions that you wanted to honor those debts, or you wanted to treat people good, you wanted to be kind, you wanted to have compassion, then there's no reason to think that you're being punished because your life is going a certain way. What if your life was going a certain way because it needed to go that way? What if it was all in the plan as like that you're going to get a good job, you're going to get a good relationship? You got to appreciate what you have now. That life is delicate and that it could end at any time, and it's not like that I'm putting that fear in you that it could end any time. Anything could happen. You get sick, get an accident, anything could happen. We see it in the news, but consuming the news is just going to make us focus too much on outside events, things that are happening all over the world. Like, some people just talk about that like all day long. They're like, I read this, I read that, I watched this and all that, but a lot of that stuff is not really, you're showing compassion that you wish things were better and you wish the world was better, but don't think that the world is a bad place, that you don't want to have kids because you want to bring them into this dark, terrible world. This world is not dark and terrible. It's beautiful. And if you explore and you talk to people and get off your social media and stop burying your face in your phones, then you'll see that there's really genuine people out there. There's nice people. They have their dogs. They're walking around. If you have your dog, then you're making connections. You're talking to people and talking about parks that you go to, hiking trails that you go on. You're having conversations. You're learning about people, and people are learning about you, and then they can give you input about certain things that you're working on. And there's like this, it's two-sided. This is that sometimes people like to go after the challenge of like, someone is one-sided with you, and they're only communicating when you're reaching out to them, and they're not looking out for you. Or if they didn't get what they wanted from you, now they just disappear. It happens because people want things, and when they don't get what they want, sometimes they act a certain way. They could get cold with you, or just disappear, or treat you bad after you were there for them. And all those things happen, but they happen because you needed to learn. We learn better when we are treated a certain way, and we go through a bad situation, or we keep repeating it, that we learn. We learn because we don't want to feel that way all the time. We don't want to feel like that we're not appreciated, or be put in these situations where it creates a lot of stress and pressure, and that you control it. So think about it that, okay, sometimes people would do things, your family, your friends, other people, or your job, like things could happen. But what if you look at it as like, what happened down the road after this didn't work out? You may have gotten a better job. You accomplished things. You might have things that you actually like in your life, but you're just focused so much on that conflict. Like when movies, like there's conflict. It always it opens with conflict, and how we can resolve this in the movie. The person's going to go into development and go after, like, the whole development is going to be about the plot. Because some things need to happen in the setup, like where things are falling apart, not making enough money, they're at a bad job, and you can see their life. It's already in the situation. Like, we're not like kind of introducing it with all the dry stuff, like, okay, you know, like showing things gradually into like you're kind of losing your audience. You're losing your audience because by the time that anything even happens, like you're already like, you know, a third through the movie. You want to like show something happening. Like maybe it looks like it's happy, but then the person's doing something already. They're cheating, or they're making it look like they're a great person, and then they're cheating, or it looks like they like their job, or maybe their boss is controlling, or you know, they're just unhappy with their job, or they're just like, they can't focus their hearts on it, and they want to do something else. They want to go after their dream, or maybe they lost their pet. You don't really show that, and maybe they imagine certain things, like they see fur, and it connects them back to the moments. Or they go on a hiking trail, and maybe they see their pet. Or maybe they talk to somebody and say, can I pet your dog? And then the person's like, oh yeah, sure. And then they could say, well, I lost mine a few weeks ago, and I'm, you know, it makes me happy to see your dog, or something like that. You know, like, get into your stories as if you're living in it, like you're living in the characters, and just create them. Do the things. If you want to be a writer, then write. Sometimes you feel like if you're not writing, that you're not fulfilling your obligation of being a writer, or you're not chasing your dream because you're not writing. If you want it, and you still want it, and many years have passed and you still want it, and you know you could do it, and you believe in yourself, and you're just not doing it because you're not committing yourself, because life is beating you up. What if life is not beating you up? What if it's preparing you to tell that story, to make it authentic? It's perception. Look at your life differently. Stop regretting the past. What did you learn from the past? How did it make you stronger? How did it make you tougher? Mental toughness. Until the next time, value yourself, respect yourself, love yourself. Peace out.